Hello, everyone. Welcome to a magical episode of the Creative Differences podcast. I'm Dallas, and I'm wondering who at Pixar has a thing for thick moms.
I don't want to follow that.
Well, ain't nobody else here.
Oh my god. I'm Colin, and I think that Dallas needs to be stopped.
Cool. Gabby's on a quest somewhere, so she won't be here today. So we have like half of Demi. Only her legs are here at the table.
Oh, you need to...
Shut up. Today we're talking about Onward.
I'm literally going to evict you.
Today we're talking about Onward.
Oh my god.
Colin,
Dallas.
what'd you think about Onward?
I liked it. Not as much as I wanted to, but I liked it. It was fun. It was, a solid family movie. Not sure I liked aspects of it. Didn't like the ending, but solid.
Yeah, I thought it was dope. When I first saw the trailer, I was intrigued, and I was like borderline excited.
Oh, I was hype as fuck.
I remember
that first trailer.
After a while, I just stopped being excited, and it got to the point where I was like, "All right, whatever. Let's see Onward." But it was good. I liked it more than I expected to. Actually, there were some things about it hit me in the feels pretty hard.
You can just say it was the thick mom. Let's be honest.
Shut up. It was like,
come on.
I know Pixar movies are, heartfelt and increasingly depressing over the years. But for some reason, I didn't expect for them to try to, like, extract tears from me in the way that they did.
How did you not expect that when the entire setup was they're trying to talk to their dead dad?
That's the thing. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's, like, about their dad is dead. But then also it's, like, their Weekend at Bernie is their dad with, like, shades and a sweater. So I was like, they're not taking this that seriously. He's walking around just a pair of legs. I was like, okay, I guess we're going to do the funny version of a dead dad. I don't know. And they did. But then toward the end, I'm not going to give any spoilers.
It was going to go there.
It's just the way it went there. The way it went there. Like the conversation that Barley has with Ian about his other memory. I was like, oh my God, I'm sad.
Yeah, that was interesting. I related to that more than I expected to.
Same. And I was like, oh my God, fun fact about me, I have never cried during a movie. And I have a list of movies that have almost made me cry. I was like, Onward's trying to get me. Onward's trying to get me right now. Freaking elves, man.
Just release the tears, you monster.
I'm not holding them in.
I don't know. It feels like you are. I don't know. Maybe that's just me because I cry at like everything these days.
Did you cry on Onward?
No, which is surprising. But like I watched an episode of a TV show like a week ago that had me tear up 5 separate times in 45 minutes. It was a lot. I don't know how to deal with that. But anyway.
So like once every 9 minutes?
Pretty much. Yeah, it was pretty regular.
Sounds exhausting.
It was, God. Anyway, Onward.
Oh yeah, so I didn't do the thing that I've been wanting to do. Give the little credits. Onward, directed by Dan Scanlon, who also made Monsters University.
Oh, okay.
I think it's freaking fire. I love that movie. It is written by Dan Scanlon, Jason Headley, and Keith Bunin? Don't know. He hasn't done anything I know. And it stars, obviously, Tom Holland, Chris Pratt, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and Octavia Spencer, which I didn't realize that was Octavia Spencer.
Really? Because I feel like the marketing was very heavy on Octavia Spencer plays the Manticore. Please see this movie.
I think I've seen all these posters and billboards and all that stuff and just ignore them completely. So when she came out, I was like, what black actress is that? Because I was like, I know this is a black woman. Which one? Like, I know that voice. Who is it? And she was amazing. I think her character is my favorite in the movie because just from the time that they meet her to her actually like joining indirectly on the quest, the whole thing, I was like, yo, this is my favorite part of this movie. She was so funny. Shout out to Octavia Spencer. You're always a delight. You have a favorite character? Is it Barley?
No, I don't know. I didn't really love anybody enough to have a favorite.
Goodness, this movie really let you down, huh?
It did, yeah.
Also, on the topic of the thick mom, I just want to say,
God.
I went into this movie, was watching the movie next to you, and was just watching it as a normal movie until you leaned over.
No. What you said to me, here's what happened. So I leaned over to Dallas, and I said,
I wasn't talking.
So is the mom thick? And he said, yeah. And then about 30 seconds or so later, he leaned over to me and he said, It's like I kind of thought about it, but I wasn't really thinking about it until you said something, and now I'm really thinking about it. So what you're trying to say is that you were watching it and had not had that thought, when in reality, you had the thought, but weren't really thinking about it. So I will apologize for putting it into your head and like rooting it in there. But you had already had the thought. Don't act like this came out of nowhere and that I'm the only reason that you started to think about how she was thick.
Did this just become Inception?
Who was that voice? Hi guys, Demi's here, lurking.
I'm always here.
Lurking.
Jesus.
Anyway, I just want to say it's your fault that I started this podcast with a reference to thick moms.
I don't think that it is.
It definitely is.
I really don't think that. Okay, Dallas?
Yes.
Let's talk about the fact that when confronted with a perfectly innocent Twitter meme that was going around, the first thing that you did was post a GIF of Mrs. Incredible, specifically, and you specifically chose a GIF.
Her name is Elastigirl.
Designed.
Show her some respect.
Her name is also Mrs. Incredible. Or wait, what is her actual name?
Her name is Helen Parr. So, Mrs.
Parr.
Parr.
Is she voiced by a Helen? Is that Helen? Or is that Holly?
Don't
Which
make me do
that?
this again. Holly Hunter. Holly Hunter.
Anyway, but yeah, point is, you went for a GIF specifically designed to show off her body. And I know this because when you posted a picture of her on Twitter to do your actual version of that meme, you told me you specifically chose the pic that you did not to highlight her body, because that would be kind of creepy. And, you know, you were talking about how you actually liked her as a character and not just because of her proportions. But when given the opportunity, the first thing you did was look for the thickness. So don't act like this is all on me. You have a thing for thick moms, and that's fine. But, like, acknowledge that.
Can we get back to this review?
No, I don't think we can.
We will.
Not if he's going to slander me, we can.
Slander's a strong word.
I think that's what you're doing.
Also, I already told you that in Facebook group chat, when you search Elastigirl, that's the first GIF.
Right, and then you choose
I just
it.
Clicked it.
No, you could have chosen something. Are you telling me that every time you search for GIFs, you just click the first one that comes up, whatever it is? No,
if
you
it
don't.
Fits, I do.
You scroll.
Demi wants us to get back to talking about
I
Onward.
bet she does.
I would like you to.
But yeah, another thing they did very well was the way that they mixed the, I guess we'll call it our world, like modern world, with magical elf dragon.
The D&D fanboy meets actual
See, I would disagree with that, but keep talking.
Disagree with what?
That they did it well.
For me. Disagree with him and agree with you, Dallas. So
sweet.
It's one of my
Audience, let us know in the comment section if you disagree with me or Colin. Colin, maybe you should explain why you feel that way so they can know.
Because,
what you're going with.
I mean, it was really like the first minute of the movie when it was like, yeah, we had magic, now we don't anymore. And now it's just your average everyday thing. And it was like, well, this could have been cool. And then you didn't use what you had. To me, the fantasy stuff felt like set dressing, but they never actually did anything with it. And from that first trailer, it was like, oh, they're doing something with it. Then they didn't. It was just like, yeah, we've got centaurs and pixies and stuff, but otherwise it's basically just our world.
I mean, what did they do in the trailer that they didn't do in the movie? Like, it's the same thing.
I guess, but I think the trailer still put more of an emphasis on that. Like the garden gnomes and stuff like that. It was like, it felt like they were going to talk more about how that world worked and what it meant to have fantasy creatures in it. Yeah. And they didn't. And I wanted them to.
That's interesting. Because I think the reason I liked it so much is because I've seen enough of our world without magic. I've seen enough of that world with magic. Because if you just have elves and dragons and orcs or whatever doing magic things, then I've seen this 1,000 times. If you have them in a normal world where it's like, yeah, this is like a modern day society, but we have elves and freaking dragons are pets and centaurs are cops, then it's like, okay, this is something different. It's like Bright, but for kids.
See, I feel like okay, that's a bad. I feel like it didn't feel different to me because I've seen a lot of that. Because I read a decent amount of urban fantasy, so that's not new.
And that's the thing is, I've seen a lot of the reverse, which is have wizards do magic and
high fantasy.
Yes, high fantasy for those high fantasies of yours. But yeah, I like the setting. I like the emotional depth. I love Octavia Spencer.
Saying emotional depth, I just want
depth. Yes.
Emotional depth too, but emotional depth.
True.
I just want to say that I think
emotions.
Tom Holland officially has like a direct line to my heartstrings because within the first 15 minutes I wanted to cry because Tom Holland.
Tom Holland's great. That's where I was gonna go next. Is Tom Holland and Chris Pratt are both really good in their roles. it helps that these are the kind of roles that they've kind of been playing for a while. At this point, I think Tom Holland's just going to play a teenager for the rest of his life. He's got that lane. He's locked that in. I'm cool with it. I also have mixed feelings about the ending. I won't get too deep into them because spoiler, but it's just, you know, like Ian, Tom Holland's character, has a little epiphany toward the end.
Yeah.
When he's like doing his list. I liked it for reasons I can't get into for spoilers, but I also was like, okay, I have mixed feelings about that, but we can talk about that off mic.
I really liked that, actually.
I thought it was a really dope thing to do narrative-wise.
That's why, because I was like,
see, I didn't.
I was like, oh, this is actually surprising. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you could have really just, I thought this is where we were going.
I think it's an expectation subversion for me.
Yes.
Because I was like, okay, you know, they're going to get the dad. He's going to talk to the dad. Dad. But then when he starts to come to that realization, I was like, oh, okay. I see you, Pixar. Over here.
I thought that was things up. Very deep. It's Pixar. Yeah. Pixar's going to be deep.
They go deep.
But, like, I thought it was going to be deep the way that you were saying it was going to be deep. Like, the way that we thought it was going to be deep, I was like, yeah, that's where we're going. And then they were like, no, we're going to do this instead. And I was like, well, this is really, like, this is bittersweet is what I would say.
Fair.
And I appreciate the fact that it is bittersweet, which is why I love this movie.
Anyway.
It was a fun movie.
Oh, yeah.
The acting was great. I thought the world was cool. And if you wanted to make a sequel, you could easily do so because they're just now exploring magic and what that means for them mixed in with this modern world.
So we all liked it. Demi loved it. Colin sounds disappointed.
I don't know. It's like the more I think about it, the less I like it.
I was going to say, I think you said mostly negative things.
Yeah.
So we have an interesting little collection of opinions. Let's call it that. But yeah, audience, let us know what you think about Onward. I thought it was dope. Moving on, unless anyone has anything else. Colin?
No, we're good.
So this is where we usually go to the section that has no name, officially. And then I give it one on the spot. Gabby's not here. Colin just decided he doesn't care.
I've changed my mind.
Ooh.
Because I just realized that the show that I should be talking about is actually very on brand with what we were just talking about.
Ooh. Okay. Cool. Well,
okay. Never mind. I had a thought, and then I thought, you know what? It's not a good thought.
You're not a good... Never mind.
Whoa, okay.
You have been on one the past couple days insulting me yesterday and today. Oh, my God. What did I do to you? And you can be like, oh, it's just an automatic response. But no, it's an automatic response that comes into your head, and then you decide to voice.
Oh, yeah.
That's the problem.
So to me.
Yeah.
Absolute. No. Keep going.
So to me, let's transition into your thing that you've been watching.
Cool.
Since it's on brand.
I watched the first season of the Shannara Chronicles.
Cool. I don't know what that is. What is that?
It is a fantasy show that was on MTV for 2 seasons. I started watching it because I'm a fan of Poppy Drayton's work on Charmed, and I was like, oh, I want to see her in other things. What's she in? She was in the Shannara Chronicles, which was a show I never watched, but I liked Austin Butler, and he's on that show, so I guess I'll watch it. And Manu Bennett's also on it, and I liked him on Arrow. So
he was Deathstroke, yeah?
Yes.
Nice.
I also really liked him in Spartacus. So, yeah. And then John Rhys-Davies is also on the show as well. And it's fantasy, and I really like fantasy. So it all worked out. But the reason why it's on brand, because we were just talking about Onward, and it's a mixture of modern times or our world with a fantasy world.
Makes sense.
The Shannara Chronicles kind of does something similar. The fantasy world exists in a post-apocalyptic version of our world.
Got it.
So humankind has kind of has no sense of their history in the same way that the magical creatures in Onward have no sense of their magical history.
Okay, gotcha.
Humankind has, like, they don't have electricity anymore. Like, they don't have, like, the technology that we do.
Ah.
But there are remains of that technology around. Like, there's, like, a ruined helicopter in one scene. And, and one of the elves is like, man, how do you think that our ancestors made these?
Yeah.
There's talk of like a great war that happened between the 4 races, and
oh right, race war.
Yeah, but not
fantasy
elves.
Does that way too much.
But the elves apparently united everyone, but obviously there's still tensions among everybody because the elves are the superiors.
Whew.
So, yes.
All right, fine. I'm gonna ask the question: are the elves pale and blonde and exactly what you would expect of elves to be the superior race? Is that what we're doing?
I mean,
are we basically Aryan racing it?
Most of them are white because the show is shot in New Zealand.
Boy,
but there is a black elf who is also the general of the army.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so there are...
Because I was going to say, if you're going to say superior race...
No, there are people of color who are also elves.
Okay, good.
Nice.
Not all of them are white. But yeah, I've really been enjoying the show. The post-apocalyptic aspect of the human world does come into play later on in like the latter half of the season. We start learning a little bit more about human history, and also start using locations that would be recognizable to us as sort of like identifiers for us. And like really, it's really interesting because obviously they have no idea the history of these places.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I really like this strange mixing of like, yeah, the human world, our world existed at one point.
Right.
But now it's gone and it is now covered with different races of magical power and, you know, stuff like that. And there are demons and it's fun. I'm a really big fan of the characters, mainly Amberly, who is played by Poppy Drayton. And it's really fun because on Charmed, she's really manipulative and evil.
Oh.
Well, she's not evil. She might be evil. I don't know.
You got a thing for the evil characters.
Well, that's the thing about her character. You're never quite sure if she's good or evil.
I got you.
Which is why I'm like, okay. But Amberly is definitively not evil.
Oh, good.
She's really awesome. The show starts with her, and she genuinely wants to do the good and right thing. But she's also a princess, which is awesome. So she's a princess, but she wants to do more than just princessy things.
Makes sense.
Which I always like in my princesses. They're more fun that way.
It's
Moana.
Like yeah, Moana too.
Yeah. See?
Is she a princess?
Yes.
Moana?
They make a whole deal of that in that movie.
Sorry, yeah, I guess it just didn't occur to me that, like, if your dad's a chieftain, do you still go by princess?
Well, she says no, but Maui says yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But also, there's a character, Will, who's played by Austin Butler, and I like him. He's like hero boy. I like him. He's cool. But like he wears a beanie to hide. He's a half elf, so he wears a beanie to hide his ears at first. And it's really cute, and he's long hair and stuff like that. And they have like another character, a human, who goes around with them. The way that they handle the love triangle on that show.
Oh boy.
Oh, I love it though.
Oh boy.
Because they're like, here's a love triangle, but look, the girls are hanging out more than they're spending time with the actual guy who they both have a crush on and starting to get to know each other and stuff like that.
Well, all right.
And I was like, this is a nice, non-conventional way of dealing with this love triangle. I appreciate that. Thank you. It gets exhausting sometimes. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's on Netflix, both seasons. I still need to watch season 2. It was on brand, so I figured let's stick with the fantasy element and keep it pushing.
I respect that. All right, Colin, still got nothing?
No.
Cool. I have been watching Dave. Dave is a TV show created by Lil Dicky, a.k.a. Dave Bird, the rapper, and Jeff Schaffer, some other guy. It's basically just a fictionalized version of Lil Dicky's life, but more ridiculous. If you're a fan of Lil Dicky, you're going to like the show because it is very much his kind of humor, but also, I'm going to say steeped in the world of hip-hop because he's a rapper. Like the first episode has YG in it, and he goes to his studio and tries to get him to do a song with him. It's a mess. Lil Dicky's kind of a mess, but I love him. It stars Lil Dicky, Dave Bird, Taylor Miziak, Christine Coe, a bunch of people I don't know, and Gata. Gata is Lil Dicky's hype man in real life. Something about me is that I've been a fan of Lil Dicky since he first started out on YouTube, just putting songs up. Shout out to Brandon from Crown Digital because he showed me the first song and I was like, yo, this is dope. And then I went to YouTube, found another song he did where he's just rapping the plot of Lion King. And I was like, oh my God, this person is destined to be my favorite rapper. He's rapping Lion King to me. And then when he was going to go on tour for the first time, he put out basically a casting call for a hype man. He made a video where he was like, hey, I need a hype man, got to be energetic. Gave all these little qualifications. And then I guess this guy named Gato won. So then when we went to the show, Gato was on stage with him being his hype man. And now they just hang out. And now he's a co-star in Dave, which I think is amazing. And I kind of wish I would have entered that contest. But it's okay. We're 2 episodes in, so I don't have a whole lot to say about it, except that it's funny. It is very uncomfortable. Oh, yeah, Jeff Schaffer. I know that, guys. He worked on Seinfeld. I didn't watch Seinfeld, but a lot of people do. If you did watch Seinfeld, you know something about Festivus? This is the guy who created the Festivus poll. But that's all I can really say about that because nobody at this table watches Seinfeld. Colin, do you watch Seinfeld?
No.
I figured you wouldn't. But yeah, a lot of that kind of humor is let's make people uncomfortable. And Lil Dicky is, well, not him, but like his show is a lot of that. The premise of the second episode is his girlfriend is a teacher at a school. One of the kids passed away, and his parents want Lil Dicky to perform at the memorial. Lil Dicky is a very, let's say, crude rapper. His name is Lil Dicky. That is described by him a commentary on hypermasculinity in hip hop, but also it's a joke about his dick being small. So the version of him in the show has a single called My Dick Sucks. And it's like, why would you want this person to perform at your child's memorial service? But I guess the kid was a fan of his. So the parents are like, oh yeah, he was a huge fan. And it's just like you and Macklemore. And Lil Dicky keeps wondering why people are comparing him to Macklemore. Probably because they're both white. But he's just trying to navigate the situation of, what do I do? This is really on brand for me. This is also going to be my first live performance, which is weird. It's a kid's funeral. I don't know the kid. Do I make the song sad? Do I make the song happy? What do I say about this child that I don't know? It's like more heartfelt than I expected a Lil Dicky show to be. Oh man, I can't wait to see where he's going to go. And I'm very proud of him. Hashtag Dicky, we made it. 2 episodes in. I'll keep watching. Shout out Lil Dicky. All right, Colin doesn't have anything. News. Let's see what's up on the news section. All right, news number 1. James Wan is developing a monster movie for Universal. You guys remember The Mummy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So they were trying to do the Dark Universe thing with all the old movies that they had. The Mummy, Invisible Man, Frankenstein's monster, The Wolfman, I think, is one of them. The Mummy came out. It wasn't well received. Everybody was like, oh, okay, cool. The Dark Universe is dead. Invisible Man came out. Was well received. I haven't seen it.
Is it part of that universe? I thought it was separate.
I have no idea. I haven't seen it.
I'm pretty sure it's separate.
From what I understand, it is separate, but there are now plans for a sequel because it did far better than they were anticipating.
But still not related to the Dark Universe.
I mean, they could change that at any moment.
That's the thing. If it's a separate movie and the Dark Universe at this point is dead, it can just be the start of it.
Huh.
Like, it's not hard to say, oh.
Because the Invisible Man was always supposed to be.
Yeah, but I feel like that's really different because, well, I guess, never mind. That would be spoilers for this movie, but I feel like it wouldn't work if they're trying to tie it into The Mummy.
No. Well, they wouldn't be tying it into The Mummy.
I think The Mummy is...
They would just retcon it. Because remember, the Dark Universe was actually not even supposed to start with The Mummy. It was supposed to start with Dracula Untold. Right, that also did horribly. And then they tried to restart it again with The Mummy. That did horribly. So now they'll probably try and restart it again, but with the Invisible Man.
I don't feel like that would work, but that would be spoilers for the Invisible Man, so I'll stop.
So I'm just going to read a little excerpt from this news article. The new project development happens in the glow of the success of Universal's The Invisible Man, which overperformed when it opened last week. The movie seems to reaffirm the studio's position of jettisoning, it's a nice word, the idea of an interconnected monster movie universe. Blah, 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 The Mummy, blah, 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 didn't work. It already has projects in the works from Dexter Fletcher, Paul Feig, and Elizabeth Banks. Is Paul Feig the guy who made Bridesmaids?
Yes.
The guy who made Bridesmaid, the guy who did Last Christmas, the guy who did A Simple Favor.
Ghostbusters, I think, was him?
Yes.
Okay. That's a choice for your monster movie. Whatever, we'll see what happens. Elizabeth Banks made Charlie's Angels.
Directed Charlie's Angels, directed Pitch Perfect 2.
Okay. This is an interesting list for like a monster movie universe.
I guess they jettisoned Bill Condon's Bride of Frankenstein, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, if this is going to be their new Invisible Man, Johnny Depp was supposed to play the Invisible Man. And they got Oliver Jackson Cohen, who I'm a fan of.
Is that Hill House dude?
Yes, I know him from Dracula.
I like him in Hill House. But yeah, apparently this one is a story focused on a group of teens who discover that a neighbor is building a monster in his basement. So clearly Frankenstein's monster. I'm curious to see how they're going to, I guess, modernize it. Because it's being compared in this article, probably just in this article alone, to Disturbia, which is a modern retelling of the Hitchcock movie Rear Window. And I like Disturbia. Do you remember that? To me, you're looking like you're trying to remember.
I didn't realize that's what Disturbia was.
Did you see Disturbia?
No.
Oh, well.
Did you see
I remember the trailers. Oh, I've seen Rear Window. I love that movie.
Okay, yeah. You probably like Disturbia. It's like Rear Window, but with Shia LaBeouf. And it's dope. It's really good. I like James Wan. I like monster movies. I have no reason to think I won't enjoy this. I also like cinematic universes, so if they want to do this and make it work, I'm all about it. I still have to see Invisible Man. I'll get on that. Colin, do you have any thoughts?
Not really. I mean, it's whatever. I probably won't end up seeing this because I've seen one James Wan movie, and I like that one because it wasn't a horror movie. So,
Aquaman?
Yeah, I like that movie a lot, but that doesn't make me want to see more James Wan movies because I know what else he's done, and I don't want to touch any of that.
Yeah, he's about that spooky life.
Also, I don't know. The premise of this movie just feels weird. And like if they're trying to do a Frankenstein's monster thing, it's not very interesting in terms of what... It just doesn't feel like it's going to hit the tone that the original novel does. And I don't necessarily like the original novel, but I feel like if you're going to do it, you got to hit that tone. And a group of teens isn't hitting that tone.
I think it's too early to say if it hits the tone or not because the movie, to my knowledge, hasn't been written yet. And, I think teenagers are capable of more than we've given them credit for.
No, it's not that I don't think they're capable. It's that if your focus is on the teenagers, you're already off the mark. Maybe.
I still think it's too early to say. Cool. News number 2. Beauty and the Beast is getting a prequel series for Disney+. I'm guessing this is a live-action movie, right?
It's a movie? I thought it was a series.
No, like the live-action movie.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, Luke Evans and Josh Gad are coming back to reprise their roles as Gaston and LeFou.
Yes. Colin, any thoughts? Did you like the Beauty and the Beast movie?
It was fine.
All right.
I saw it and then I forgot about it. I don't think I'll watch this. I don't care. Even if it was based on the animated movie, I still don't look at it. Like I don't care about Gaston and LeFou. Beauty and the Beast is fine, but I don't need any more of it.
Demi?
I'm intrigued because it means it would have to probably take place during the war. But also, I saw somebody who was like, "Is Disney Plus the new direct to video?" And I was just like, "All right, you can make that like comparison, I guess, except the budget will be far higher than any direct to video ever got."
Yeah, that's
like
true.
The Mandalorian looks like it's a movie every freaking week, and I'm sure that Falcon and the Winter Soldier will also look like a movie every week. These aren't just let's throw them onto the streaming service. Mm-hmm. No, these are very high quality, well made shows for the most part so far that we've seen.
Yeah, and when we were growing up and they were doing like direct to video sequels, everything was different. Like Disney was big, but like where it is now versus when like let's say friggin' Little Mermaid 3 or whatever came out when we were children. From then to now, Disney has purchased everything. They have a streaming service. They own Marvel, Fox, like.
And the art form has just evolved into a completely different place.
Yeah. So it's like, you could say it's the next direct-to-video, I guess, if that's the comparison you want to make, but it's not that. Like, it's not similar. It's a completely different thing.
And it's more like a limited series, too. That's the thing.
It's a 6-episode musical limited series, which...
Oh, it's a musical, too, actually. Yeah, I'm actually more excited about this now.
And it's from the creators of Once Upon a Time, which I did not watch.
I did, and I loved Once Upon a Time for a while.
Yeah. Kayla likes it, or liked it. Maybe she still likes it. I don't know.
You get to a certain season, and then you kind of just stop.
That's fair. It happens to me with a lot of stuff. But, yeah, I'm not going to watch it because as much as I really like Josh Gad, like, especially from Beauty and the Beast to now, I've grown to like him a lot more from stuff he's done. I just don't care. So, yeah, Demi, you can tell us how the show is when it comes out.
I'm just the Disney Plus go-to person now. I guess I just watch everything on Disney Plus, and I tell you guys whether or not it's good.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm just rewatching old stuff I used to watch as a child. Moving on to the thing that Colin cares about. The Last of Us is getting a TV show on HBO.
See, the thing is, I want to know, in order for me to firmly establish how I care, I just need to know if they're trying to adapt the game or if they're setting something in the world and saying we're doing something else. Because if they're doing something set in the world, I'm 100% on board. Give it to me. I'm down. If they're trying to adapt the game, I don't want it. Because the thing is, I have issues with the story of that game, but regardless of my own personal feelings, I think it's fantastic. It's one of those games that I understand that this is what you do with video games. You adapt them to another medium because people are against video games and they won't play them and they won't get the story, blah, 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 and you want people to expose it. No, shush.
I am not against video games. It just takes me forever to get through them.
I have the floor. You will let me have the floor.
A movie takes me 2 hours. A video game takes me days.
Oh, yeah, here's the thing. You know what's fun? With Last of Us specifically, you can go on YouTube and just watch the cutscenes. And there are so many people who experience the story just through that. Because the story is good enough that you do not need to play the game to get it.
And that's still like 3 hours.
We have a friend who's now dead who showed that to their dad, the cutscenes, as far as I know.
Who's now dead?
Can you prove to me that they're not?
I could try, I guess.
Anyway, yeah, and it's just like, this is one where, you know what? I was thinking about this. Hey, Dallas, you have your phone open. Can you tell me when The Last of Us came out, the game? Because I want to say it was like 2013, 14. I was trying to decide how in-depth I wanted to go into this, and then I thought, you know what? The Last of Us came out in
2013.
Cool. So, here's the thing about The Last of Us. This is one of those games where you can adapt it, and I'm sure that watching Joel carry his daughter through a zombie-infested city, not knowing what the hell is going on, will be fine. But when you are playing Joel, and then your daughter gets shot, and you have to watch her die, and it's horrible, it means more. When you're doing the thing with the whole, what's going to happen to Ellie? Are they going to rip her brain out and kill her? When you're doing all of that, as Joel, you're playing it, it means more. And adapting it, you're going to lose that. And I know that that works for people, and that's fine. But this is one of those games where I feel like you have to play it to get it. It's not going to mean as much. Watching Ellie try to save Joel from David is not going to mean as much if you're not doing it. Like when you're playing the game and you switch from Joel to Ellie, it is a switch in how you play and how it works. The entire game switches because you're not used to it. And you're not going to get that sense just watching it. You'll get the story, you'll get the emotion, but you won't get the...
I agree on Dallas's subjective part, only because as a filmmaker, there are techniques that you are taught in order to bring your viewer into the perspective of a character.
And I think I don't just mean a wall you're never going to get over.
Yeah, I don't think so. Just because I think...
But I'm a movie person and you're not. You're a video game person and I'm not.
Yeah, so I think it depends on what kind of person you are, because someone like you who is a lot more into video games will have a lot more emotional investment. Like when I was playing the Spider-Man game, spoiler alert, somebody dies. That happens and I was like, oh man, that sucks. That's sad. I've been playing as Peter Parker this entire game for however long it took me to do that. And when that happened, I was like, oh man, that sucks. But in Spider-Verse, when I watch Miles see his uncle die, spoiler, sorry, it hit me way harder. That story was hitting me harder. I invested more with it. It wasn't, I don't think it's about the medium. It's about the story and how you tell it. So if you tell the story in the movie in a way that the emotion's going to be pulled out of me, it doesn't matter whether I'm playing as the character or just watching them. Like, the story's going to hit if it's going to hit. I don't think it is going to hit any less. But that's also just me. I don't know. It's going to affect different people differently. We'll see. I'm probably not going to watch the show anyway. But shout out to Chernobyl guy, Craig Mason. He's making the show, executive producing and writing.
Yeah, isn't he also doing the Pirates of the Caribbean movies? The new ones?
Are they still making more of those?
Yeah.
Oh.
I heard about that.
Pretty sure he's the guy who's supposed to be in charge of those too.
All right, dude. You've been busy. Good job. Colin, anything else to say about The Last of Us?
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to end up watching it. I feel like I have to.
Yeah, he's doing the Untitled Pirates of the Caribbean project and Cowboy Ninja Viking and Borderlands.
Wow.
Oh,
He's
Lord.
Going in. All right, moving on. News number 4. Taika Waititi is going to direct 2 Charlie and the Chocolate Factory series for Netflix. This is a weird headline to me. 2 of them?
Yes.
He's going to direct them or he's going to develop them?
I believe it's both.
This says direct. This is the headline.
Every episode of 2 series?
I mean...
And also his own projects, which means... Oh, he's never going to make Akira now. That's never going to happen.
It says he will write, direct, and executive produce 2 of Netflix's animated Roald Dahl series.
Typically, though, when they say that they're directing a series, usually it means that they just are directing the pilot and then other people will direct. But then
I was going to say...
And then you have the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance thing where Louis Leterrier did all 10 episodes. So it really just depends.
For his sake, I hope he's not directing and writing all of it because he's going to be exhausted.
No, I highly doubt that he's directing and writing all of it. That's not...
I don't know, you know?
That's not common for a TV series. Even for TV series, like you have a writer's room. He's probably just writing the first episodes of those. But he's definitely developing those shows, especially the Oompa Loompa one.
Yeah, so I guess... Let's see. One of them
is actually based on the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory novel. The other one is an original spin-off, which will be about the world of the Oompa Loompas and where they came from and how they came to be a part of the factory.
Loompa Land or something?
I don't know
like
where they came from. That's why the show is going to exist.
He went and...
I think that was like a jungle or something.
Yeah, he went and slave shipped them and brought them back to be chocolate slaves. This is going to be a weird show. Because
Taika Waititi is involved, so it was already weird.
That's true. I knew going in was going to be weird, but
the thing is, if you take a narrative that's basically about slavery and ask me who I would want to adapt it to make it better, he'd be a good choice. I feel like he will look at that and go, you know what? Maybe let's not make it about slavery. Let's choose something else.
Okay, so you mean change the narrative, not make a narrative about slavery better.
Actually, yeah, change the narrative. Okay. I feel like he would look at that and go, ooh, maybe not.
Hopefully.
This is the same man who just made Jojo Rabbit.
Which and that's actually, I don't know, that gives me pause because I didn't think that movie worked. But
I think Jojo Rabbit works spectacularly, and so do a bunch of other people who clearly gave him an Oscar for his adapted screenplay. So
Oscars are subjective.
I think that Jojo Rabbit isn't, like, based on its premise, isn't something that I wanted to see, so I didn't. But I think someone who is of Jewish heritage, like, that's your story to tell if you want to adapt it.
Yeah.
Slavery, that ain't you. I don't think the story is going to be about slavery, obviously. I just remember the part of either the book or the movie where Willie is saying, like, oh, yeah, I went and rescued them from
They were an indigenous people who were being killed by something.
Animals.
Yes.
So he's like, I went and rescued them from land. But, like, you know, oh, you saved them from Africa. It's dangerous over there. So we'll see how that goes.
I mean, he himself is also an indigenous man.
Sure. I just feel like the story is a lot more, like, it sounds like the African slave trade.
Yeah.
He brought them from their native land and brought them to work in a factory.
I don't know, but that's the point of, like, these books and those movies never actually went into depth about how that relationship worked. Are they actually slaves? Are they being paid for their labor? We don't actually know, which is probably why Taika Waititi decided to make this show.
And because it's a weird story that he can get weird with, probably. But yeah,
if anybody's going to do it, I'm going to trust Taika to do it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to watch this. I might give it a shot to see what he does with it, because he's funny. He's creative. Which one is the old one? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yes, I like that one.
The Gene Wilder one?
Yes, I like the Gene Wilder one a lot.
I like both of them for different reasons.
Fair. They're very different.
I like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory because it is far more accurate to the book.
And that's the newer one?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, that's the Johnny Depp one.
Yeah. I saw that. Colin, you going to watch the Oompa Loompa?
No.
Okay.
I have I've never cared about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I like Taika Waititi, but honestly, he's at this point, I think it's fair to say he's hit and miss for me. So, like, this just doesn't interest me.
Well, audience, let us know what you think about that show and the other shows. We're going to talk about a lot of shows on this news and one movie. That's our thing for the day. That's our podcast. That's our magical episode. Thank you, audience, for listening to all of our ramblings, as always. Let us know what you thought about Onward, Oompa Loompa slaves, freaking the universe, monsters, all that stuff. You good, Colin?
No. Not you. You didn't do anything.
Okay, you're just staring into the void. Thank you to Crown Digital, Brandon, and Io for putting us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also, thank you, Brandon, for putting me on to Lil Dicky back in 2013. Thank you to me for editing and actually talking, because I thought you weren't going to speak and this is going to be me and Colin having a quiet conversation.
He was so very worried.
Yeah. It was like, we're already missing Gabby. Like, it's International Women's Day, and you're going to have us do this with no women?
It won't be when we release this.
That doesn't matter. It is now. We're recording it on International Women's Day. Happy belated International Women's Day to everyone out there. What, Colin?
Never mind.
To all you ladies out there who identify as women, happy International Women's Day.
Everyone listen.
Hey, Dallas, you going to get pegged?
Okay, I figured you were going to go with the Deadpool thing. Yeah. No. This is the part of the podcast where I thank everybody. I'm not going to thank Colin because he just said that. All right, moving on.
It was a question.
Audience, like, share, subscribe, etc. Do all the things that you do on the medias. Speaking of medias, you can find us on Twitter at y'all_different. You can find us on Tumblr at Creative Differences Podcast. You can find us on Facebook by just searching for Creative Differences. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at a king named Simba.
You can find me on Twitter at Doug McGuck.
You guys can find me on some grand adventure on Twitter and Instagram at Dreamy Films. Dreamy is spelled DREEMI.
And you can find Gabby at Thicc Mom Enthusiast on Twitter. All one word.
Okay, don't give her your side account. Like, come on.
I'm sorry, Colin. Who do you know that gets more excited than Gabby whenever we say someone is thick? Or ask, hey, is this person thick? Who do you know besides Gabby?
I feel like at this point.
Get out of here. Because if you would have leaned over.
Say somebody who's not on this podcast, but.
If Gabby was sitting next to you in Onward and you would have leaned over to her and said, hey, is she thick? She would have screamed. She would have screamed in the theater, oh my God, yes. And I did not. I just quietly nodded and said yes. Am I wrong?
Then you said you couldn't stop thinking about it.
Am I wrong though?
But then you said you couldn't stop thinking about it.
We're talking about the enthusiasm.
I also feel like Gabby screaming about things. That's how Gabby screams about everything. Like that's not. I feel like baseline.
Okay, fine. Between me and Gabby, which one said on mic that she wanted Florence Pugh to crush her head with her thighs?
That was Gabby. I don't see what relevance that has. That's just Florence Pugh. She has a thing for Florence Pugh's thighs.
Because they're thick.
I guess.
What do you mean you guess? Is that like...
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
Oh my God. Audience, let us know who you think... Never mind. It's been different. Bye.